So it gives me great pleasure and an honor actually to introduce our speaker this evening. And I had the pleasure of being in the service this morning when Mary was showing the Sunday school kids some miracles that she was trying to, where did she go? That she was trying to do. She had broken an egg. She had broken an egg and she was trying to put it back together, and the little kids were watching intently to see how she was going to do that. And the moral of the story is that we can't do miracles. Miracles are not for us to perform, but there is one that performs miracles, and that one is subject to step 2 and step 3 and a couple of other steps that we do, and that is our power, greater than ourselves, does do miracles. And I believe that at one point in time, our guest speaker turned his will and his life over to his higher power, and he made a decision that he was going to change his life for himself and for his children and for other people in his life, and he did that. He came into the Calgary Drug Treatment Court program a number of years ago. He went through that program not without some problems, not without the odd hitch, not without some resistance, not without him thinking that he could take his power back. But he learned very quickly that he couldn't, and he had to turn his will and his power over to what he believed was the God of his understanding. And when he did that, and when he surrendered and accepted that, he was able to move forward in the program. He graduated. He graduated our program and is now on the probation period of his program. Are you done the probation yet, too? No, close. So I get dates. I've got Claudia. Claudia, stand up for just a minute. This girl, stand up. This is my counterpart from drug court. So I'm the angry one, she's the nice one. But without Claudia, I couldn't do the job I do, and I don't know, I think the feeling's mutual. We work together so closely with our participants, and it's such a joy to work with them, and it's an honor to work with them. We learn from each and every one of them. And Terry, I want you to come on down front here and share with us your experience, strength, and hope, because Terry is one of those guys that we call a miracle. He is nothing short of a miracle. So.
Evening, folks. I'm Terry, and I didn't do drugs today. And that feels pretty good. It really does. Now, my story basically starts like a lot of other people's stories, because I'm not special. I just run of the mill. The defining moment was actually born out of great remorse for being apprehended while that little child in the back that's screaming was being born. And not one of my, I think she dropped him. Not one of my most shining moments, but it was also one of the biggest moments of my entire life. That was when I decided that if I was shown another way other than what I'd been doing, I was going to take it. And I had no idea what that way was going to be yet, other than another term in jail. But when I got into the Calgary Remand Center, because I was arrested in Irricana, and I was given the opportunity to enter Calgary Drug Treatment Court, which was not without a bit of, it took some doing. Like, I had to figure out, well, not only just read the posters and get my lazy lawyer to give me the application and stuff, but go through the process of filling out the applications and the screening process and everything like that. And I was accepted into Calgary Drug Treatment Court. And the first thing I thought was, I can manipulate my way through this. I can do what I have to do, and I can create the appearance that everything is all right. I can get through this in no time, and everything's going to be fine. Turns out it wasn't that way at all. Claudia saw right through me in half a heartbeat, which I'm extremely grateful for too. You know, she was that voice of reason and that voice of authority in a few different situations. Like the first time I lost the keys to the car, Kim's car, and went back to remand. She came in, and I'd never seen Claudia mad yet because I hadn't, had the opportunity to make her angry. But she was mad, and I couldn't figure out why she was so angry. It's like, what's this all about? And then it clicked in my head after we talked, and it's because she cares. I hadn't had people around me I've had people around me that cared, but not somebody without, an ulterior motive, basically. And that's what I saw in Claudia. And that was one of the biggest stepping stones for me to start building trust with people in this program and in life in general. That opened the door, and that was like a very pinnacle moment. And so got out of remand again, went to the Dream Center, and life there was good. But that was, and so actually, let's back up a little bit. Went through Simon House, which was a fantastic experience. That place gave me exactly what I needed. It gave me structure, provided me a discipline, and and the brotherhood there is absolutely amazing. I look out right now, and like there's so many brothers from Simon House right here right now, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. And something I forgot to start with was thanking Jeff Cyril. Now, oh, there he is right there. Yeah, I was supposed to start with that, but I didn't, so he's probably not cooking dinner tonight, but that kind of sucks, because he's a damn good cook. But, you know, like there's so many great things that have come out of this, and so many things that I'm extremely happy about and grateful for. And one of them is actually the biggest thing for me is the concept of gratitude. You know, the being grateful for being grateful. You know, I had no idea what being grateful for anything was. I was actually quite ungrateful for a lot of years. Had no idea what it entailed, and now I'm extremely grateful for good friends, quality family, and you know, also very grateful for the trials and tribulations that I have, you know, like being able to exercise patience when, you know, I really have absolutely none, and because I have a tendency to fly off the handle, not so much, you know, like exploding and getting all ugly angry, but more like diabolical angry, and that's something that I work on. You know, because I see what that does to the people that care about me and the people that matter to me, and it's these people that have given me the strength and the courage to do this too. Because this has not been, you know, like actually it's been a pretty easy journey once you get past, you know, having to deal with my demons and having to go to treatment on 3 different occasions and having to like act like a grown-up. I had no idea what being a grown-up entailed until I came into this. You know, I started doing drugs at a very early age, and what they say is once you start doing drugs is when you stop growing up. And so I was 13 years old till I was 39 pretty much. And it's through all of this that I've started being of benefit to those around me, and doing that without wanting anything back. And that's what feels really good, you know, being able to help people that need help around me, like, you know, and being reliable now. Like people can ask me, you know, can you be here to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I can be there, you know, juggle my schedule around, do my best, you know, and also not just adding lip service to lip service, you know, like how do I put it? Being honest with my commitments too is another great big thing for me, you know, like I have to just, if I'm unable to do something, then I can't do it, you know, it's that simple. But when I can, I'm there, and I try and be there for everybody around me, because I look out here right now, like there's you know, probably 45% of you that I could call on in half a heartbeat, and you'd be there to do anything for me. And most of you folks, like, you already know that I need the help before I even realize I need the help, and you're there for me. And that's something I'm also extremely grateful for. My spiritual awakening actually is something that I just wanted to touch base on, because after going through the steps and doing step 5 and having to sit down with my sponsor and everything like that, I had, you know, no burning bush, no pinnacle moment, no shining rainbow or anything like that. And I wondered if maybe I had done something wrong, if I didn't work the steps properly. And so I kept looking for that. I kept trying to find it under, you know, around every corner and in every pamphlet. And actually, where I found it was in the 12 by 12. This explains my spiritual awakening absolutely perfect. And I just want to share this with you folks tonight. Step 12. This is about the spiritual awakening. He finds himself in possession of a degree of honesty, tolerance, unselfishness, peace of mind, and love of which he had thought himself quite incapable. That was my spiritual awakening. That is it exactly. You know, I do my best to follow, you know, a spiritual program, you know, and my program, you know, doesn't look anything like anybody else's, just like nobody else's looks like mine, because we're all individuals on this. You know, even though we're fighting in the same trenches and we're battling the same war, you know, we still are individuals, and everybody has something to learn from everybody else. You know, like whether that's, you know, the people that, whether you can learn from my relapse what not to do and what signs to look out for, or whether you can learn from my victories, you know. And I'm more than willing to share those with anybody too, because that's how this works. You know, we are a community, and without this community, I have no idea where I would be, and I really don't want to spend a lot of time pondering on it, because I have this community, and this community has me, and it's a beautiful thing. We could leave early. That is definitely an option, but I actually just want to say thank you to a few people, and somebody that never comes to church on Sunday, which was, I was really happy to see her, which is Claudia. She was my case manager for drug court, and thanks for coming, Claudia. Thank you very much. Because she does deserve a round of applause for putting up with my crap and calling me on it on every moment where she felt she had to call me on it, because it always came from a genuinely awesome place, and I really appreciated that. So thank you, Claudia. And Peter, her counterpart, you know, it's like Pete said, you know, they work as a team. And I remember my relapse too, where I figured when I come back from, after my relapse, I come back, and I figured I'd just be dealing with, you know, Claudia. Oh no, they both called me into the office, and it was a joint venture. And and I didn't have a lot of answers other than I feel like crap and I don't know what to do. And they came up with a wonderful contingency plan for me, which I did not think was so great at the time. I tried to manipulate and you know, coerce my way out of that, but it just wasn't happening. So I was really glad though that they worked together as a team, you know, like bounce ideas off each other, because, you know, even though like a lot of instances where, you know, things aren't going my way, you know, they know what's best, because this isn't their first kick at the cat. You know, I'm not the first person to have a relapse in drug court and not want to go to treatment for the third time. Well, maybe I am. Three's a pretty big number, but but I'm just so grateful for what this program has brought me. And that's not just the drug court aspect. It's the 12-step program. You know, like I do my best to follow what that big book says, because as it turns out, it is a textbook for living, and it's pretty easily laid out. You know, if you're willing to sit down, read the book, and go to meetings and not just take up a chair and actually contribute and listen to what people have to say, you're gonna hear something that's gonna keep you coming. I know just about every time I hear something new, you know, and that's what keeps this so strong for me is the meetings, what I do for my own personal recovery at home, you know, like my personal meditations and stuff like that, and just to stick into the structure. And without it, like I said, I don't know where I'd be, and I'm just super glad I don't have to find out. But that's about all I have, because I'm not gonna dive into like what I used to be like, because I really don't want to have to sit up here and tell you what an asshole I was, because it wasn't good. So we'll just skip that part, and I'm just happy with who I am today. If I die today, I'd be happy celebrating the victories I've achieved in the last 2 years rather than dwelling on what I never did. So thank you.